Tonight, COVID-19 is keeping one high school sports team from making it to the starting line. Plus, Montana law enforcement talks about the measures being taken to keep COVID out of detention centers. And fighting western wildfires turns deadly as a Montana pilot is killed while battling flames in Oregon.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Thanks for making MTN your choice for news tonight. I'm Tim McGonigal. Keely Van Mittendorp is off tonight. Well, as Montana and the nation continue to grapple with the challenges of COVID-19, one of the focal points has been the return of sporting events. Now, days before the first competition of 2020, the Helena High cross-country team has been suspended due to a positive case of coronavirus within the program. Helena Activities Director Tim McMahon confirmed the positive case today and stated the program will halt all practices and competitions while the Bengals await word from Lewis and Clark County Health on the next steps.
Well, the first thing we'll do as a district is always err on the side of caution with kids and make sure we're keeping them safe. And so even before County Health probably knew, we had suspended the program at Helena High. We knew we had a positive. We're going to suspend it. And then that suspension is largely to allow time for the county health departments to do their job, to do the tracing. And then we wait for them to tell us what's the next step. How long is an individual out? What other individuals may impact? When can we restart that program?
Now, Helena High was set for competition with rival Capitol High this weekend. You can find more details at montanasports.com. Montana reporting 6 new deaths from COVID-19. 5 of the deaths happened in Yellowstone County in July and August, but were just added today to the state data. The other death was in Flathead County. The state is reporting 136 new cases since yesterday. Almost 1,600 of those cases are active and 119 people are hospitalized. Well, on Monday, Cascade County health officials joined the sheriff's office to announce 55 new cases of coronavirus that stemmed from a single case at the facility. 53 inmates and 2 staff tested positive for the virus. Sheriff Jesse Slaughter told MTN News today that they're working hard to keep infected parties separated in the facility with testing capabilities in place. Asymptomatic individuals and those who appear healthy are still testing on a weekly basis. Slaughter said those tests have a turnaround time of 48 hours. Cascade County Attorney Josh Racky told MTN News he's seen one case already requesting a lowered bond amount, citing coronavirus concerns, and expects more cases in the coming days. Slaughter says he's worried about releasing violent offenders back into the community who could then spread the virus.
If they're in here, that tells me that they've reached a level of risk that our judges don't feel comfortable about releasing them, or they would have been released already under pretrial.
And the decision to lower bond and bail amounts lies in the hands of district judges, while inmate health and reduced bond concerns citing COVID worries are in the spotlight. It's also important to highlight the fact that Slaughter says most inmates in jail choose not to wear masks. Meanwhile, with large numbers of inmates testing positive for COVID-19 at Cascade and Yellowstone County jails, MTN talked to Lewis and Clark County Sheriff about testing protocols at his detention center. Leo Dutton says their efforts are focusing on keeping the virus from coming in.
We go through a questionnaire, a long questionnaire, with anyone who is coming into our facility. We ask questions, where have you been? Have you been in contact with anybody who has it? And we take a temperature, and if there is any positive indications, we will take them for a test before we bring them in.
Detention center administrators estimate they've done about 55 tests on people who might have had exposure to COVID-19. In mid-June, they had about 85 tests done for inmates and staff without symptoms or known exposure. All have been negative. The detention center has stepped up its cleaning, and officers are using personal protective equipment. Well, tomorrow is the day that many people have been waiting and preparing for back to school in Great Falls. Before you send your child to school, there are some things to remember. Governor Bullock's August 12th directive requires face coverings in all K-12 schools in counties with 4 or more active cases. The governor did say that districts may allow students to remove face coverings while seated in classrooms where social distancing of at least 6 feet is strictly observed. One common question has been, what happens if a student exhibits potential symptoms of COVID-19 while at school? At Mountain View Elementary, symptomatic students may find themselves in personal pods while the newly full-time school nurse monitors them and contacts a parent or guardian.
Before you guys arrive on Wednesday, first, we're really excited to have you. We've been working tirelessly to prepare for you. Teachers and staff have gone through a lot of COVID training and procedures. Please remember to send a face mask, send a water bottle with your child because our water fountains are currently closed. But show some grace for yourselves, grace for us. We're learning through this together, and we've prepared as much as we can.
First Student, the company that handles Helena Public Schools, is in need of bus drivers. First Student has set up recruiting stations all summer to bring in new bus drivers and attendants for the coming school year. First Student hopes to hire about 20 more people. The location safety manager says this is double the amount they typically hire. One reason, the pandemic. Helena Public Schools added more bus routes to limit the amount of students on the bus at one time.
The Transportation District has done a wonderful job in how they have set up our routes. We've separated, and just kind of the way we're running things now is a little different than last year. So our drivers are not really having to work extra hours per se. They might be running more routes, but that all falls within their hours they normally work.
And tomorrow on Montana This Morning, MTN's Alexia Aguayo will break down the changes First Student implemented to keep drivers and students safe from COVID-19. A Montana pilot was killed fighting the White River fire in Mount Hood, Oregon. Republican Senator Steve Daines' office released a statement offering prayers and condolences to the family of Tom Duffy of Bozeman. Duffy's church said he was a lay leader of the Seventh-day Adventists. The church said Duffy was from Bozeman and played basketball at Montana State University. He's survived by his wife and 3 children. The acting director of communications for the Northwest region of the Forest Service, Suzanne Flory, confirmed to MTN this afternoon Duffy was the only one in the helicopter. The accident happened late yesterday. The White River fire is in the Mount Hood National Forest. The helicopter was doing bucket water drops on the fire. The investigation is ongoing. MTN News did wait to release his name until later this evening to assure that family had been notified. That fire was started by lightning. Well, even though it rained, many of us were not able to actually pick up any rain. Our Storm Tracker weather team is here to tell us more. For the latest on that, let's send it over to Grant Garland.
Good evening, Tim, and good evening, everyone. That's right, we did see a lot of rain moves through our area today, but we weren't actually able to pick any up in a lot of locations. Here in Great Falls, we didn't pick up even a trace, even though we did see a few raindrops. In Helena, 200ths of an inch of rain, and out towards Lewistown, just over 2/10 of an inch of rain. Over the last 3 hours, we have still been tracking a few showers and thunderstorms. Zooming on in close to where Jordan is, we're seeing heavy downpours out to you guys as well as Winnett. Now, temperature 66 degrees in Great Falls, 64 in Helena, 72 in Havre, and our winds 11 miles an hour in Great Falls as well as Glasgow, 19 though in Cutbank. Tonight, temperatures will fall down to around 55 degrees in Great Falls, around 57 in Havre, as well as Hayes, 56 in Lewistown, and 63 in Glasgow. And tomorrow, well, going out to the bus stop forecast, 58 degrees for the morning, mostly sunny skies. And as we return home from school, temperatures going to be in the mid-80s, around 85 degrees. Now, later in the show, we're going to talk about our rain chances for tomorrow. But for now, back to you.
All right, thanks, Grant. Well, the Helena City Commission will vote on a proposed contract for the next city manager at a special meeting next Monday. Under the proposed contract, Rachel Harlow-Schalk's first day as city manager would be October 19th. The contract would set her salary at $154,000 per year and extend through December of 2022. The city says Harlow-Schalk has already signed the employment agreement. Harlow-Schalk is currently the state of Colorado's deputy director of local government. Commissioners selected her as their choice to become the permanent city manager earlier this month. Well, the man who pleaded guilty to negligent homicide in a 2018 shooting in Helena is scheduled to be released from custody in October after a panel of judges granted him a reduced sentence. The Montana Supreme Court's Sentence Review Division ruled unanimously this month that Greg Trude's original sentence was clearly excessive. Judge Mike McMahon originally sentenced Trude to 20 years with all but 3.5 years suspended. The Sentence Review Division amended that to 15 years with all but 1 suspended. Trude will also be required to complete 500 hours of community service. Trude is currently at a Department of Corrections facility in Missoula. He's now set to be released on October 14th. More Montanans will be able to vote by mail come November, but there are other options. We'll take a closer look coming up next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. The economy and President Trump's law and order message was a big focus on night 2 of the Republican National Convention. Speakers included the president's children, Eric and Tiffany. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo drew criticism from Democrats by breaking precedents and addressing the convention from Jerusalem. And the evening also featured a message from the newly renovated White House Rose Garden from First Lady Melania Trump.
How proud I will be to cast my vote again for Donald this November. We must make sure that women are heard and that the American dream continues to thrive.
Tonight's theme was Land of Promise. Tomorrow, Vice President Mike Pence will headline the speaker list and formally accept the party's nomination for vice president. Well, across Montana, county election officials have been deciding whether to conduct this year's general election with an all-mail ballot or not. As MTN's Mike Dennison reports, most of them are choosing the mail ballots, but voters will still have options to drop off their ballot in person.
It's been 3 weeks since Governor Steve Bullock gave Montana counties the choice of going to all-mail ballots for the November 3rd general election. Election officials asked for that power because of concerns over finding enough polling places and election judges during the coronavirus pandemic. And as of Tuesday, 40 of Montana's 56 counties have chosen mail ballots. That includes 7 of the 8 most populous counties, which covers Billings, Missoula, Bozeman, Great Falls, Butte, Helena, and Hamilton. Flathead County in Kalispell is the only large county to stick with polling places for November 3rd. A dozen other counties have made that same choice, most of them less populous rural counties. 2 counties will make their decisions next week: Jefferson, which includes Boulder and Whitehall, and Treasure County in eastern Montana. In the counties going to all-mail, all registered voters will be getting their ballots the second week of October. And in the other counties, absentee ballots will be mailed out at the same time. Also, if your county sends you a ballot in the mail, that doesn't mean you have to mail it back. You can drop it off at the county election office, or in some counties, at ballot drop boxes. For example, in western Montana's Sanders County, officials will be placing drop boxes in towns across the county and at regular polling places on Election Day. And one last thing, regardless of what your county is doing on mail ballots, you can continue to register and vote right up to 8 p.m. on Election Day. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
The deadline for counties to make a decision is Friday, September 4th. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Mike Cooney rallied with U.S. postal workers today, and he called on Congress to provide bailout funding to keep the Postal Service afloat during the current pandemic. He also got in a jab against his GOP opponent, Greg Gianforte. Cooney appeared with supporters and postal workers outside the main post office in Helena. He said the Trump administration is making deliberate moves to sabotage the Postal Service and that it must never be privatized. He and Postal Union Representative Dee Rhodes also said Congress needs to approve a $25 billion bailout bill for the service. Cooney also noted that while Gianforte has said he supports fixing the Postal Service, he voted against the bailout bill last Saturday. Gianforte said the Postal Service needs a bipartisan fix, but that Saturday's vote was a partisan dog and pony show. From Democratic Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Rhodes also told MTN News that while the bailout is needed, she believes the mail in Montana is getting delivered mostly on time.
As far as I know, the mail is getting out on time. I've not experienced any delays. There's no mail left in this facility at night. It's all getting out. It's all going out to the plant or going out to where it needs to be delivered.
Congressman Gianforte, talk is cheap, but votes are what matters. Montanans, we're counting on you to stand up for us, to stand up for our Postal Service, and you failed.
Cooney and Gianforte are running for governor to succeed Democratic Governor Steve Bullock.
Well, as we walk out the door tomorrow morning, around 58 degrees. Don't go away. We're going to talk about our rain chances for the Treasure State all in all after this break.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a fantastic Tuesday and ready to take on Wednesday. Hey, we are one day closer to Friday, so no complaints from me. Highs observed today right around 87 degrees for the Electric City, down towards Helena, a little bit cooler at 84. The farther you headed out east, the warmer it got. 94 degrees in Jordan and 95 in Glasgow. A very hot day for you all. Now, the average for this time of year is right around 80 degrees. Our record was set back in 1926, though, when it was 100 degrees. Very, very warm that year. That was also the year that Andy Griffith was born. Currently, temperature 66 degrees in Great Falls, 60 in Lewistown, 72 up towards Havre, out towards Glasgow, right around 75 degrees. And even though we really aren't seeing any wind problems now, we have had a very breezy day. 46-mile-per-hour winds, rather 45 in Great Falls, 43 in Helena, 35 in Lewistown, out towards Jordan, 53 miles. Very, very breezy out there. And we are still tracking these showers that are pushing off towards the Dakotas. Zooming on in here, looking at a really good downpours right around Jordan that have been making their way out towards Circle, producing a few little lightning strikes there. So just make sure that you are staying indoors. Now, with the weather we're expecting tomorrow, we are looking at the chance to see some scattered, possible isolated severe thunderstorms. The main threats when it comes to our fire weather outlook will be the isolated dry thunderstorms. The Storm Prediction Center, they have issued a low risk for those really Helena and Lewistown and south for the possibility for any of these storms bringing within damaging wind gusts, lightning, as well as hail. It is possible. As we head throughout the night, activity will die down. Going into tomorrow afternoon, though, this is when we start to see our clouds build back in. Pay attention to Helena and Lewistown, though. That's where we're really going to see the activity stay farther down. We are looking at right around the home again commute for those in the capital city to possibly see a few showers. Going throughout the evening, we'll continue to see showers start to build up from Bozeman, heading on out towards Lewistown, trying to make their way out towards Glasgow, but things should start to fizzle out. And this is Thursday morning. As we go throughout the day, Thursday, we are going to be looking at showers and thunderstorms staying well south of Lewistown as well as Helena. So we should be looking at a mostly sunny day for us on Thursday, if not sunny all in all. How much rain could we be looking at, though, for tomorrow? Well, we are possibly seeing 1/10 of an inch in Helena. Lewistown seeing some rain around the area, but not really picking up anything. Stay tuned to Jason, though, tomorrow morning. He'll be able to give you a better idea with the latest models. We are looking at our winds tomorrow between 10 to 30 miles an hour, depending on where you're at, especially out towards Jordan, seeing the 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts. As far as we're concerned with a week outside after next week, we are looking at temperatures still staying relatively cool from what we typically see for this time of year. And we are also looking at drying conditions coming back into play. You can always stay weather aware by following me at meteorologist Grant Garland on Facebook and downloading that free KRTV app. Tonight, temperatures 56 degrees in Lewistown, 55 in Great Falls, 54 in Helena, a little bit warmer in Havre at 57, and tomorrow warming up to 85 degrees in Great Falls, 83 in Helena, 88 in Havre, and 92 in Glasgow. Looking at the same with not only Jordan, but in Miles City. As we head throughout the next 3 days, temperatures are going to be dropping down to around 82 degrees by Friday. The sun will come back out to play. We're going to be looking at showers and possibly maybe a thunderstorm on Sunday, but I believe most of us will be sticking with showers as rain is on the way. Temperature 64 degrees. Don't go away. We'll be back after this break.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. Football isn't the only Class AA sport to have a long wait until the start of the season. The girls on the volleyball court are practicing patience too. And for the CMR program, that means waiting a little longer to continue their recent success. MTN's Isaiah Dunk has more.
Last season was a monumental one for the CM Russell volleyball team as they ran a perfect 10-0 conference record, went 23-3 overall, and took third at state. And so now expectations are a little higher around Rustler country.
That was just like the best season we've had. Like, it was just crazy to be a part of, and so now our coach is kind of holding us to, like, it'll be weird to like lose or like see how the season goes, but it's fun.
CMR returns mostly everyone from that team, but one big piece that's missing is All-Stater Allie Olson, who now plays for Utah in the Pac-12 Conference. That means head coach Patrick Hiller will have to try a few new things on the court this year.
We're going to be running a lot of different systems, some stacking, some crosses that we've never been able to run before. So the IQ of the team is high as ever. And so right now our setter's having a blast with it because she's literally designing different offenses without even telling the coaching staff at times. And we just kind of smile eternally, hey, we hadn't seen that one before.
Hiller said normally it's tough when someone like Olson leaves the program, but it's hard to complain with the amount of talent and experience he's got coming back, including All-Staters Lauren Linseth and Tennyson Hiller.
We have a lot of leadership that's on the program that has been there, done that now for the last 2 years going to state. And so I think some seasons I'd be a lot more nervous than I maybe am this right now, but the fact that we have so much experience coming back, girls that know how to win after I think we won 23 matches last year, I don't think you could ask for a much better situation.
In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
We'll hear from Great Falls High tomorrow. Well, a Montana icon is in need of help after a fall at her home last week. Tom Wiley has an update on piano Pat's health and how her many fans at home and abroad are helping her get back on her feet.
Many people know Piano Pat, the performer. She's entertained crowds at the world-famous Sip and Dip Lounge for over 50 years.
It's been her passion. Music is her life, and I think that's what's kept her going.
But when she steps away from the iconic keyboards here at the Sip and Dip, she's Pat Spoonheim, an 85-year-old mother of 3, grandmother of 5, and expecting her 4th great-grandchild in October.
She helped us grandkids, you know, always kept us in school clothes and shoes, and she has always given to other people.
Pat has brought joy to thousands over the years, but now she's the one who could use a lift to her spirits. Earlier this month, she suffered a scary fall in her home, slipping, hitting her head, and breaking her hip.
Luckily, after tests came back, the head injury was not near as bad as they feared. So then they decided to go ahead with the hip surgery. She had to get about a 10-inch pin put in. Fortunately, she came through with flying colors. They said the surgery went very well.
Pat is currently rehabbing at Benefice West, where her spirits are high, but she has a long road to recovery. So at the request of her extended family, Anderson created a GoFundMe account to help offset some of the medical costs.
I thought this would be a good way for us to be able to give back to her. Her savings is going to be quickly depleted with medical bills, and so I knew that finances would be tough. And
so far the response has been massive, an outpouring fitting for the larger-than-life local legend.
When I went to visit her, I said, you know, I want you to know that there are so many people that are thinking of you and praying for you, and they are wishing you well.
Pat's family isn't sure when and if she'll ever return to performing, but she's always blazed her own path, so never say never.
She's still got a lot of determination and ready to get back on her feet, so we're all praying for her and hoping that eventually get back home, which is what she wants.
Tom Wiley, MTN News.
We have a link to the GoFundMe page on our website, and we'll be right back.
Temperatures tonight, 55 degrees in Great Falls, 56 in Lewistown, and heads up as you wake up to go to the bus stop forecast. We'll be in the upper 50s with our afternoon temperatures in the mid 80s. Overall, as we head throughout the next 3 days, temperatures are going to be falling into the lower 80s with sunny skies.
Yeah, so a lot of students, teachers going back to school. It's the first time in a long time.
It'll be a nice day to do that in Great Falls. Down towards Helena, you might have to deal with a few more clouds, but it'll be overall a beautiful day.
Well, those that are heading back to school, we wish you a very safe year, and we'll see you tomorrow.